biggest mistake you're making right now is panicking while God is working behind the scenes. You don't see it yet, but everything around you is shifting. Everything. The pain you're feeling. The pressure. The silence. It's not punishment. It's positioning. You clicked this video for a reason. I don't believe in accidents. I believe in divine appointments. And if you're listening right now, it's because God is preparing to shift something massive in your life. But you're on the edge. Confused. Frustrated. Maybe even angry. You feel like nothing's working, and you're one step away from giving up. Listen to me carefully. This message will be your turning point. And if you skip ahead or click off too early, you might miss the exact word that was meant to unlock your breakthrough. So stay with me. Let's talk about the shift that's coming. Because it's not just coming, it's already happening. You're not crazy for feeling like everything is shifting. You're not wrong for wondering, what is going on with my life? I've been there, when everything that once felt stable suddenly starts falling apart. When the people you thought would stay forever leave. When the job, the plan, the dream you were holding on to begins to crumble right in front of your eyes. But let me tell you something real, and I need you to hear it like your life depends on it, because it does. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the shift. God moves most powerfully in the places where we feel the weakest. Divine shifts don't show up when everything's neat and perfect. No, they're born in the middle of chaos, confusion, and crisis. They rise in the moments when you want to give up. When you're crying at night and nobody sees you. That's when God is closest. That's when the shift begins, when you have nothing left but Him. I remember when I was in one of the darkest seasons of my life. Nothing made sense. I was asking God, where are you? Why are you letting this happen? I felt abandoned. But little did I know, that was the exact moment heaven was rearranging everything for my good. See, the problem is that panic lies to you. Panic tells you that God left the room. But faith tells you that He's moving even when you can't feel Him. Panic blinds you, but faith reveals the shift. You have to understand something about divine timing. God is not limited by what limits you. He's not bound by the laws of the economy, the rules of your job, the deadlines people place on your life. Heaven doesn't run on your calendar. God doesn't respond to pressure, He responds to purpose. And when the time is right, He overrides every earthly circumstance to release what He's been preparing in secret. Romans 8:28 tells us, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, not some things. Not the good things only. All things. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the setback, the silence. All of it is being worked together, not just to get you through it, but to take you somewhere you couldn't go on your own. And Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" That verse is like a wake-up call. It's God saying, open your eyes. Stop staring at the problem. There's a miracle forming under your feet. But here's the hard truth. You won't see it if you're looking through fear. You won't feel it if you're listening to anxiety more than God's voice. Divine shifts don't begin in the natural. They start in the spirit. You won't always have physical evidence that God is moving. In fact, most of the time it'll feel like He's not. But you have to be spiritually awake to perceive what's shifting. There is movement in the invisible realm right now, right as you're listening to this. Things are being released. Chains are being broken. Doors are being prepared. You think you're stuck, but heaven sees you in transition. You think you're waiting, but God says you're being positioned. You think you're losing, but God says He's making room. The shift is not about comfort. It's about calling. It's not about keeping you in a safe place. It's about launching you into a new place. And here's what I've learned. Spiritual sensitivity matters more than physical certainty. You may not have the answers, but you can still have alignment. You may not see the path, but you can still take the next step by faith. So, hear me now. Don't panic. Don't let fear convince you that this moment is meaningless. The ground may be shaking beneath you, but that's not destruction. That's God breaking up the old foundation to lay something brand new. You are on the edge of something holy. You are standing at the border of breakthrough. The shift has already begun. The only question is, can you perceive it? You're not being ignored. You're being prepared. But what if the delay isn't the problem? What if the way you're seeing the delay is? Because sometimes the silence is actually the strategy. I know it's hard to wait. I know the silence can feel like a scream in your soul. You pray, you hope, you believe, and yet nothing seems to move. You wonder if maybe God forgot. Maybe He changed His mind. Maybe you missed your moment. But I need to speak something straight into your heart right now. God is not late. He's just building something you're not ready to carry yet. You see, when we don't understand what God is doing, our first instinct is to panic. That's what the flesh wants to do. Grab control, fix things fast, or run away from the pressure. But that's not how heaven works. Waiting on God is not punishment. It's preparation. It's the sacred space where your faith is being refined, your character is being shaped, and your roots are growing deep enough to carry the weight of what's coming. I have lived this. There were seasons in my life when I thought, God, if you don't move now, I'm done. I'm going to lose it. But what I didn't see in that moment was that He was protecting me from premature success, from doors I wasn't mature enough to walk through, from blessings I didn't have the discipline to handle. And when the time finally came, everything happened suddenly, but none of it was random. It was perfectly timed. Listen to Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Not your time. His time. And here's the problem. Your timeline is too small. You're looking at weeks and months. God is building you for decades and generations. He's crafting a masterpiece, not microwaving a moment. You want the outcome, but God is focused on the foundation. You're asking for a destination, but He's developing your endurance. Because if He gives it to you too soon, it'll crush you instead of bless you. And so, the waiting becomes holy. The delay becomes divine. But let me warn you, panic will try to hijack your process. It will scream that nothing is changing. It will convince you that it's all pointless. But trust invites revelation. Trust says, even when I don't see movement, I believe there's momentum. Because with God, stillness doesn't mean stagnation. The seeds of your next season are growing underground where your eyes can't see, but your faith must still water them. Psalm 27:14 says, "Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord." That's not passive waiting. That's warfare waiting. That's you standing in the middle of uncertainty and declaring, I still believe God is good. I still believe He's coming through. I'm not moving off this promise. And here's what you must remember. Divine shifts often come like a snap, fast, fierce, and out of nowhere. One phone call, one conversation, one connection. And suddenly, everything that didn't make sense now fits like a divine puzzle. But that sudden shift was never random. It was heaven's perfect plan arriving right on time. You've got to hold your ground. You've got to stop checking the clock and start checking your character. Are you being faithful with the little? Are you stewarding your now while believing for your next? God is watching, not to judge you, but to prepare you. So don't let the wait break you. Let it build you. Don't let the silence scare you. Let it sharpen your ears to hear His voice. Because when the timing is right, what took years to pray for will happen in moments. And when it comes, it won't feel forced. It'll feel familiar, because God already whispered it to your spirit in the waiting room. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You, though, are not late. You are in the divine timeline of a sovereign God who is too wise to be early and too loving to be late. So breathe, trust, and wait with expectation, because the shift is coming, and when it comes, it'll come fast. You say you trust God, but why are your fists still clenched? What if the real shift can't start until you finally let go of what you were never meant to carry? Let's be real. You're tired because you've been trying to control too much. You're drained, not because you don't love God, but because you keep trying to do His job. And I say this not to condemn you, but because I've been you. I've stood at the edge of decisions, plans, dreams, and clenched my fists so tight around them that God had no space to move. But the truth is this: control is the enemy of peace. The tighter you grip your own plan, the further you drift from God's. What would happen if you finally let go? What if today you surrendered, not out of defeat, but out of trust? Let me tell you from my heart, letting go isn't weakness, it's spiritual warfare. Surrender isn't giving up. Surrender is giving God space to show you what only He can do. You see, we crave predictability. We want the steps mapped out, the future explained, the pain justified. But that's not how faith works. Faith doesn't give you a blueprint, it gives you a promise. And that promise is not about making sense of everything. It's about trusting God even when nothing makes sense. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, you don't have to know." He knows. And His plans are not mediocre. They're not average. They're not leftovers. His plans are good. They are purposeful. They are filled with hope and a future. But here's the thing. You can't walk in His plan while clinging to yours. Proverbs 3:5-6 is one of the hardest verses to live out in real time. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. That means you'll have to ignore your logic sometimes. You'll have to walk into rooms you don't feel ready for. You'll have to say yes when your brain says no. But the moment you stop leaning on what you understand and start leaning into what He's speaking, that's when heaven opens. I know it feels risky. I know surrender feels like standing on the edge of a cliff with no safety net. But that's exactly where faith thrives. That's where miracles are born. God can do more with your surrender than you could ever do with your strategy. And when you let go of what's safe, you make room for what's supernatural. Here's the truth. You've got to plant deep. Letting go is the starting point of divine favor. The shift you've been praying for isn't waiting on God. It's waiting on you to release control. The blessing is already in motion, but you've got to stop trying to control the when, the how, and the who. So, here's your invitation. Open your hands. Release the fear, the timeline, the bitterness, the need to figure everything out. Say, God, I don't get it, but I give it. Say it even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because your surrender is not the end. It's the beginning of something far greater than anything you could plan. You're not losing control. You're handing it back to the one who created time, who rules over the winds and waves, who already finished what you're just beginning. Trust him. The shift doesn't require you to know everything. It just requires you to release everything. You've surrendered the plan. Now watch what happens when heaven responds with favor. But be warned, favor doesn't always feel like what you expect. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt like you were working hard, but getting nowhere? Like no matter how much effort you put in, doors stayed shut and opportunities passed you by. I've felt that. I've lived in that tension. But then something changed. Not because I got better or smarter, but because God's favor stepped in. And when favor shows up, everything changes. But don't get it twisted. Favor doesn't always feel easy. Sometimes, favor feels like pressure. Sometimes, favor comes wrapped in responsibility. We expect favor to look like comfort, applause, and open doors. But often, favor shows up as unexpected challenges that are actually positioning us for elevation. Look at Joseph in Genesis 39:21. The Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor. Joseph was in prison, forgotten by people, but favored by God. That tells me something powerful. Location doesn't limit favor. Circumstance doesn't cancel calling. You can be in the lowest place and still be walking in divine favor. You see, favor is not just about what happens around you. It's about what God is doing through you. It's about doors opening that you didn't knock on. It's about being invited into rooms you never applied for. It's about supernatural positioning, being placed in front of the right people at the right time, for the right reason, by the hand of God alone. But you'll miss it if you're looking with the wrong eyes. You've got to develop spiritual insight to interpret what's happening. Because not every open door is from God, and not every closed door is a loss. Sometimes God shuts the door not to punish you, but to protect you. And sometimes He opens a difficult door to stretch you into the person you're becoming. Psalm 5:12 says, "Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield." That's not passive. That's power. That means favor is your covering. It deflects what should have broken you. It blocks what was sent to destroy you. It shields you from assignments of the enemy that never even reached your doorstep. So, how do you recognize favor? You start to see unusual access, divine connections, people who bless you without knowing why. Peace in the middle of a mess. Clarity when others are confused. Opportunities that don't make sense on paper, but your spirit knows they're God ordained. And here's what you've got to do. Stop minimizing what God is doing because it doesn't look big yet. Favor often starts in small packages. A whisper, a nudge, a random encounter that isn't random at all. God's favor is subtle, but it's strategic. It moves silently but shifts everything. Expect favor. Walk like it. Talk like it. Pray like it. Favor isn't something you chase. It's something that follows you when you walk in alignment. It's not earned, but it is stewarded. So protect it. Honor it. Speak life over it. And most of all, recognize it. Because once you see it, You'll never question again if God is for you. The doors are opening. The alignment is shifting, but what do you do when everything still looks the same? Because the most powerful moves of God often begin in complete silence. This is the part nobody likes to talk about. The middle. The in-between. The space where you're doing everything right, but it still looks like nothing's happening. And let me be honest with you, I've wrestled in that space. I've cried in that space. I've wanted to walk away in that space. But it was in that space that I discovered something unshakable. God is still working, even in the silence. It's easy to trust God when things are moving, when prayers are being answered, when doors are opening. But what about when everything goes quiet? When the phone doesn't ring? When your inbox is empty? When your health isn't changing and your heart still feels broken? That's where real faith is forged, not in noise, but in stillness. Habakkuk 2:3 gives us this divine reminder. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. That verse kept me sane in the waiting. Because it means that just because I don't see it yet, doesn't mean God isn't orchestrating something behind the curtain. Heaven never delays without a reason. And Isaiah 40:31, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strengths are not weak because you're tired. You're being renewed in the waiting. You're not stuck. You're being strengthened. You're not forgotten. You're being refined. God's silence is not his absence. In fact, some of the deepest work God does in you happens when it feels like he's the farthest away. That quiet season. It's the womb of your next level. The place where identity is forged. Where roots go deep. Where pride dies and trust is born. I know it's tempting to give up. To think it's not worth it. But every step of obedience you take in silence shakes hell. Every time you choose praise over panic, every time you get up and keep going even when no one sees, it counts. It matters. And it's moving something in the spirit. So don't stop praying. Don't stop praising. Don't stop expecting. Because the moment you give up might be 1 second before God was about to release everything you've been praying for. Keep going. Keep sowing. Keep standing. Heaven sees it all. Your breakthrough won't come because you forced it. It'll come because you stood firm when everything told you to quit. This quiet season isn't a mistake, it's a setup. Your faithfulness now is building the foundation for the favor that's coming. And when it hits, it won't just bless you. It'll shake everything around you. You're not wasting time. You're investing in the unseen. And soon, what's been hidden will be revealed. What's been delayed will be released. And what's been silent will sing with victory. So hold on. Just a little longer. You're almost there. You've waited. You've held on. You've survived what tried to destroy you. Now the only question left is, will you step into what's already yours? You've waited. You've cried. You stayed faithful in the silence. And now, it's time. This is the season where you don't just talk about faith. You walk it. This is where you stop rehearsing the pain and start releasing your potential. Because the shift isn't just coming, it's here. And now, the only thing left is for you to walk boldly into it. I need you to hear me clearly. God didn't bring you this far to abandon you at the door. He didn't break chains just to let you stand in fear outside your breakthrough. He shifts you so he can use you. You are not here by accident. You are not hearing this by coincidence. The Spirit of God is awakening something inside of you, something courageous, something powerful, something divine. Now, it's time for you to move. The ground may feel unfamiliar. The path may feel shaky. But don't forget, God already walked ahead of you. You are not stepping into the unknown. You are stepping into the already ordained. Joshua 1:9 says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." That verse is your war cry. That's not a nice idea. It's a command. Courage isn't a feeling. It's a decision. And when you choose courage, you activate heaven's backing. Faith doesn't wait for clarity. Faith creates momentum. You're not waiting on a sign. You're not waiting for people to confirm you. You're not waiting for perfect conditions. You're stepping out now, in faith, not in fear. That's what 2 Corinthians 5:7 reminds us. For we walk by faith, not by sight. If you keep waiting until it makes sense, you'll miss the miracle. And let me say this, boldness honors God, and God honors boldness. When you move in obedience, even when you're scared, even when you're unsure, even when your knees are trembling, that's when God shows up in power. That's when walls fall. That's when giants drop. That's when the supernatural becomes your new normal. I get it. You're still healing. You still have questions. You still feel underqualified. But listen closely. God doesn't call the qualifier. He qualifies the call. And you, my friend, are called. You are chosen. You are appointed for this very moment. The enemy has tried everything to silence you, distract you, delay you. But he failed. Because you're still here. And if you're still here, it's because your story isn't over. It's about to begin. Everything you've gone through, the losses, the delays, the detours, it's all part of the divine setup. God didn't waste a single tear. He's turning it all into a testimony. But you've got to step. You've got to move. You've got to stop shrinking into the background and start rising into your calling. You were made for such a time as this. This shift isn't just about elevation. It's about activation. It's about walking boldly into the place where God's favor meets your obedience. It's not just about what you receive. It's about who you become. And who you are becoming is strong, unshakable, fearless, focused, faith-filled, and fully aligned with heaven's will. So stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You already have heaven's approval. Stop second-guessing what you've heard in your spirit. God speaks in clarity, not confusion. If He called you, He will carry you. If He shifted you, He will sustain you. This is your turn to rise. This is your turn to move. Don't tiptoe into this shift. Walk in like you belong, because you do. You've heard the word. You felt it in your spirit. You know something's moving, and this moment right here is your invitation to step into it. Not with fear, not with hesitation, but with full surrender. This isn't about sounding spiritual. This is about alignment. Something is shifting in your life, and God is waiting for your voice to respond. So right now, wherever you are, I want you to pray with me, out loud, with faith. This is not just me praying for you. This is us praying together. Let's step into the shift. Say this with me. God, I come into your presence with open hands. I breathe out every anxious thought. I let go of the panic. The pressure, the pretending I silence the noise in my mind, and I make space for you. Come into this moment. Lord, I know you are here. I choose stillness, I choose surrender, I choose to hear you now. I release it all. God, every burden I've carried too long, I lay it at your feet. I release my need for control, I surrender the timing, the outcome, the process. I release the fear of why I can't see, the fear of not being enough. I let go of what didn't work, who left, what didn't happen. Take it, Lord. I don't want it anymore. I trust that your hands are stronger than mine. I declare this now with all my heart, God. I trust you. I trust your timing. I trust that you are working behind the scenes, even when I can't see it. I trust that this waiting is not wasted. I declare that you are not late. You are strategic. I believe you are shifting things for my good, even now. I stand in faith, not fear. I will not panic. I will praise. I am not forgotten you. I am not forsaken. I am not disqualified. I am chosen by God, appointed for this moment, favor and covered. I am more than what I've been through. I am bold. I am ready. I am aligned with heaven. The enemy lost. Fear is broken. Doubt has no voice in my life. God, awaken who I truly am. Your warrior, your vessel, your child. Let my life be a vessel for your purpose. Every delay I've endured, every detour I faced, it's all part of your design. Use my pain for purpose. Use my story for glory. Use this moment as a launching point into destiny. I declare that what I am stepping into is not random. It's divine. I receive your purpose and I say yes. Now, Lord, I receive this shift in Jesus' name. I receive divine acceleration. I receive favor that surrounds me like a shield. I receive clarity, courage, provision, and peace. Doors are opening. Chains are breaking. Destiny is aligning. What you started in me, you will finish. This shift is not coming. It is here. So I step out now with boldness. No more playing small. No more waiting for permission. I move forward, not with fear, but with fire. I will walk by faith, not by sight. I will walk through open doors and into new levels. I will walk like I'm chosen, because I am. Thank you, Jesus. The shift is here, and I'm ready. Amen. If this word lit a fire in you, then let that same fire flow forward. Because someone else is standing in the place you just got free from, panicking in the dark, desperate for a word. When you give, you don't just support a video, you send the voice of God into someone else's midnight. This shift is not just for you. It's a move of God through you. You've prayed, use me, Lord. This is how God is answering that cry. Every super thanks, every membership, every seed sown through PayPal is not just generosity, it is anointed obedience. It is oil poured out. It is a spark that ignites revival in places you may never see, but heaven will never forget. He said, "Give, and it will be given to you," and he never speaks in vain. Your faith activates a harvest. Your gift breaks through spiritual drought. This moment is not small. It is not random. It is sacred. Obey now, and watch how God shifts favor not only into your life, but through your life. Click. So, give. The PayPal link is in the description. Become part of the shift. This is not donation. This is divine partnership. If you just prayed that with me, I need you to do one more thing, and it's important. Don't just close this video and go back to life as usual. Mark this moment. Declare it. Seal it in the atmosphere. I want you to go to the comments right now and ready for the shift. No more panic, only purpose. Write it. Speak it. Own it. Because something powerful happens when you move your faith from silence to action. This isn't just a comment. It's your confirmation. Your agreement with heaven. And if this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you know is standing at the edge of something big, someone who just needs a reminder. God is about to shift everything in their favor, too. This is more than a message. This is a movement. Let's walk into the shift together. Amen. Please like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to God, subscribe to our channel